Okay, guess we'll start out. Disappointing loss in Eugene. Short version is they made one or two more plays than we did. I thought we played exceptionally well on defense. Um, Played the run tough, 55 yards rushing or that neighborhood. Uh, 20 points allowed, which is should be good enough to win the game. It wasn't in this case. Um, Three takeaways, a score. One of those takeaways was a score. Really, the problematic area weren't our usual self on offense. We weren't productive enough. 10 points, 325 yards ish, and so we had our chances though. All that being said, we still had our. Whoa, you okay? Okay, we had our chances and didn't capitalize. And give Oregon credit. They played well and made the plays they needed to make in the final analysis, and so therefore we came up short. Looking ahead, got Colorado this week on the road. Obviously the last regular season game. The old adage: we can't let Oregon beat us twice. I mean, you can't have a hangover. You can't feel sorry for yourself. You got to pick yourself back up and get ready for the next one. Mathematically, we still have a pathway to the championship, but all we can worry about is our part of that equation, and that's where our focus lies, and we've got to finish the season the right way and just be concerned with ourselves, and then we'll see what else transpires. But it's been a year of a lot of positives and obviously some negatives. But got a chance to win our ninth ball game, and that's what like I said, our entire focus is. So questions?
How much does not having a consistent kicking game change how you've been able to do things down the red zone?
Yeah, it has affected it. Probably 4 to 6 times, I'm going to say, this season where it could have been a bigger factor in drives. We rely somewhat heavily on analytics, and there was really nothing in this past game that was on the borderline. It was all cut and dried, the decisions that were there to be made in this past game. But that always helps to be consistent. So, yeah.
You talked about not being in the sync class on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
After you've watched it back or had time to digest it, is there one particular reason why you felt like you weren't in sync on offense?
Didn't do much in the throw game. That was probably our biggest deficiency. We ran for a decent amount and had some decent production there, but we weren't as sharp or as productive or as efficient in the throw game as we needed to be, and that was really all three of the turnovers came in the throw game, and so that was the most problematic area for us.
Are you able to quantify or put into words just how limited Cam is, or just how?
He's all right. I mean, he's out there. If you're out there, you're good to go. Like Bo Nix. Bo Nix was out there, so he was good to go. And so, can I quantify it? No, other than just saying, if you're on the field, then you're expected to, make plays and produce.
How much is 9-3, 7-2, which would be considered a disappointment, a measure of respect for your program?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I mean, we've been in the league 12 years now, and to have a 7-2 record maybe be somewhat of a disappointment, as you mentioned, is probably a compliment in a way. But we're not focused on that. We're just obviously we're trying to repeat as conference champs, but that's still 9 games win. If we're able to get to that, is more than 90% of the country. I guess I don't know.
7-2 is better than 63.
PK, you lost me.
What's your birthday?
Oh yeah, okay. We ignore that. Yeah, we ignore. Yeah, we ignore that. But thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate that. Justin, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
With 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, you decided to go for it instead of taking a field goal attempt to tie it up. What was your methodology behind it?
Analytics, watching field goals in practice, the benefit of making that first down at that point in time, Everything goes into it, but like I said, it was the go number analytically was far greater than what we had at that point. I mean, I think it was a go at 7, and so that was the composite of those different areas made that decision.
Now that you've seen film on that, did it look like the ball slipped out of Cam's hands, or did you just short arm it from?
No, I didn't detect that. I'm gonna have to ask Cam exactly.
Kyle, an Oregon defense has given up some big plays, especially in the pass game. Looking back, do you wish you'd taken more shots, or were there some shots maybe that were there and just for one reason or another you taken? Because it wasn't a play over 18.
That was one of our biggest issues. Is we turned the ball over 3 times. The 3 biggest issues on offense were lack of chunk yardage. You can't. It's just really hard to score 5 yards at a time. 12, 14 play drives. Those are hard to put together. So the lack of chunk yardage, the lack of production in the red zone, and the turnovers. 3 turnovers. Those are the 3 biggest issues. And you're right. There had been some susceptibility to bigger plays down the field, but we didn't make any in this game, and they did. Credit their receivers. They made 2, 3, 4 plays up the field that were a big chunk yard plays, and that was one of the differences in the game.
You talked about obviously not wanting Oregon to beat you twice.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep a team from doing that? I know you can't necessarily get into their minds or anything that way, but how do you try to help them in scenarios like this?
Well, you just got to, first of all, put it behind you as quick as you can as coaches. I mean, our mentality and our attitude, the way we approach things is critical. If we walk around feeling sorry for ourselves and moping, then that, the players read that. And your players are reading you every single day. Everything you do, they're reading you, and you better be practicing what you preach. And so, it's nothing new to have that mindset when you come back to put it behind you and move forward and all positive. Like I said, as hard as that can be at times, but that's how you got to approach it. And as I mentioned, we got a chance to cap the season off with a pretty decent record if we take care of business, and we got a chance to, I don't want to say backdoor because it wouldn't be really a backdoor, but mathematically get back into the championship game.
Do you have any players right now sitting at 3 games?
Yeah, we went over that yesterday. We had 3 or 4 players in that situation.
Do you anticipate them not playing? How do you handle that?
We'll do whatever we need to win this game. So if we need to use those guys, we will. That 5 is the threshold. You don't want to get to 5, but with projecting ahead what you might have on the schedule, we'll just have to see. But yeah, there's 3 guys to be exact that are right there on that line.
Do you have a conversation with those guys who were at 3 about what might?
Oh yeah, we've already had those conversations, and some of our guys that are at 4 have already said want to preserve the year, and we agreed with them, and so we've cut those guys out of it.
Will you maybe say some of the guys at 3 for the bowl game? And some guys-
Yeah, that's the thing to consider. How do we get that 4th game? Where do we utilize that 4th game? And so that's a question mark right now, and then possibly a 5th game, like we said, or a bowl game plus 1 more. So there's possibly 3 games left, and so we got to make sure that we try to maximize that, and we'll just see how things play out.
How well do you know Mike Sanford Jr.? And I know you coached his dad, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But how tough is it to be in a situation he is in, being the interim, and just kind of an uncertain future?
Yeah, well, I've never been in that situation, or as an assistant. Obviously, never been an interim head coach, and never been with a interim head coach as an assistant. So you'd have to ask him how tough that is. But I do know him. I know his dad very well, as you mentioned, and Mike Jr. was around quite a bit when Mike Sr. was here, and a good young football coach, and he's a guy that really has he's got a bright future. He's already done a lot, but he's a guy that has a really good grasp of offensive football.
Any other questions?
Okay, guys, thank you.